So the nurse came in to prep me for surgery, and Eric said he wanted to pray before they took me back. And so she was, making sure that she needed to take some more blood and stuff, and I asked her to excuse us, for a minute, because I needed to pray with my husband. And she asked me could she stay. And I looked at Eric, and he said that she could. And he began praying. I needed my husband to pray with me. Everybody else had prayed, but they didn't love me. They weren't connected to me, And I needed that prayer more than any prayer he ever prayed over me. And as soon as he finished, the nurse picked up in prayer. And she started praying over the doctors and the nurses that would be back there with me. And I thank God. Everybody that dealt with me prayed. And I needed that because my trust in man it's been broken so much. I don't really trust the hospitals and their care for us as black women, or men for that matter, but as far as it coming to them handling us in pregnancy. I needed prayer. I needed to hear that they was calling on somebody greater than them to help them get through this night. And I thought, like, when we left out of the triage, that we were going to a room, to wait a little bit. I didn't know that I was going directly into surgery, but when we were leaving out the triage, I asked the nurse, to make sure my husband got fed. That I didn't get a chance to. And she said, sometimes we gotta look after each other's husbands, and I'll make sure that he's taken care of. And we started walking up the hallway. Eric was behind the bed, and they asked, did we want to give a final hug. They were taking me right in. And to kiss and hug my husband and not know if I would get a chance to again. I didn't want to let him go. They start pushing me back to the surgery room, and I just felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. It just didn't feel real. And they pushed me into the surgery room, and the nurse announced, well, this is Nicole. And I heard her, but my mind was telling me that she was talking to another nurse, you know. And the other nurse came up to me and said, Nicole something, and I said, my name's Natasha. You know, I felt like, yeah, it just wasn't real. It just wasn't real. And I said it with like authority because I wanted them to double check something, you know, make sure that I was in the right place, you know. And they just continued to put me on the bed, and the doctor asked me where was my favorite place to go. And that's the last thing I remember before they were waking me up. And they would have me in a room, and they were monitoring me coming off the anesthesia, and, you know, just making sure I was okay. And I asked the nurse, were they able to save my tube? And she just responded to me and said, let's get you back up to your husband. And I was excited to see him, you know, to let him lay his eyes on me and see that I was okay, you know, that I made it out of it, that I was alive, and to hug and kiss him, you know. And we got up to the room, and I asked the nurse again, you know, was he able to save my tube? And she looked at Eric, and he had tears in his eyes. And I said, somebody please answer. And she said, we had to take your left tube and your ovary. And I just burst out in tears. This was literally the hardest day I have ever faced. And I would love to say that I was prayerful. I prayed. And I thank God for my life. That was the first thing I did when I woke up, because I didn't know it had gotten that bad. You know, that what I was doing was pushing a limit that far. I would love to say that I just trusted God's plan on this one. But been going through a grieving process. Going through the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, you know. I hate that I had to get to the point of surgery. But if I'm honest, had I not had the surgery, I might have not grieved like I should have. I might have pretended like it never happened because nobody knew. You know, I would have had to deal with it with my husband and our daughters, but I might have just pretended it never happened. It's been really hard. I'll go through times of trying to not think about it. But the surgery is a constant reminder that it's real. They went in 3 places, and I've had a hard time with not, you know, dealing with the emotional of it, dealing with the pain of the surgery, but not being able to do what I would normally do to clear my mind, as far as yoga or working out or going on my walks. Um, when God talked to me about being vulnerable and transparent, I never thought that this would be something that I would have to discuss. I never thought that this would be a pain or an experience I had to go through. Um, Even when God told me I was going to have to make this video, I told him I didn't know if I could. But the VA called to make sure I wasn't suicidal. And they had the lady that called told me that 1 in 4 women experience this. 1 in 4. And she told me, well, you probably know somebody that went through it. She needs to work on her bedside manner, I'll tell you that, because she was making me go through it, okay? But to know 25% of women experience something like this, I never knew that. If I didn't go through this, I probably would have never known that. It's actually never anything I thought about. You know, I never thought I would have a miscarriage, but I think I thought of miscarriage, stillborn, or SIDS. I never thought about women getting pregnant and the baby not getting to where it needed to be. I still have a hard time processing that. But your egg would come down and just not come down far enough. That your baby will start growing somewhere that it shouldn't. I ask that y'all pray for me. Because as I'm coming out of it, you know, it's still fresh. I'm still within the first week of a half of it happening. I fell off, you know, as far as my eating. I got angry about it. Like, it didn't change anything. So I've been doing a lot that I know I shouldn't. Emotional eating. Y'all pray that I get back on track, because I know how important it is. I'm just hurting. So if y'all see me about somewhere that y'all know I shouldn't be, you just pray for me. Mind your business. Leave me alone for a little bit. I'm going to get back there. Just, it's hard. I just want women out there that's experiencing this to know that you're not alone. Message me. I'm gonna have to go collect the remains this week. Oh yeah. I have been talking to God every day though. The main thing I've been able to get out is just continue to thank God that I'm alive. The night in the hospital, I had a real raw conversation with God. And I just couldn't understand. And I'm still trying to understand. My pastor came to see me though, and she said, God already knows what's going to happen, you know. And if the baby wasn't going to survive, would I rather it be now or after I was holding the baby in my arms? After I had time to know it and grow with it. Perspective is everything, right? It's hard because it's just hard. Whether it's your first pregnancy or you've had 5 children already, I don't know that it'll be any easier. But to birth a stillborn or have my baby and brought it home and started raising it to lose it. It's also a heartbreak I would never want to know. So I'm gonna take it day by day and let my body heal. They said I should be getting back to normal after 2 weeks, but I still feel the pain I felt before the surgery. Not constant, you know, but I'll just get shocks of pain. think about, like, is it my body missing what's supposed to be there, or is it phantom pain, or is it just the process of healing? I don't know. I just know I want to get back to myself. I know my husband's looking for the old me. I want to feel like me again. But today I don't. And it's okay, because I'm feeling better than I did yesterday. And I'll feel a little better tomorrow. I thank God that I still trust He will do it. God gave me a dream to show me that I'll still have kids, and that I'll have grandkids and great-grandkids around me. I needed that, to not be in despair. Yeah, I don't even know what it took to make this video. My camera's cut out about 4 times. And maybe so I could get through it. It's not the end for us. Women that have had ectopic pregnancies, that have lost a tube or ovary. You probably feel like me, that it would have never been you. And it's gonna hurt. Cry when you need to cry. Say what you need. Don't forget that your partner is going through the same thing. I thank God so much for my husband. He has decided to be at home with me, and he's been so helpful. First few days home, I couldn't even get out the bed for myself. I've been crying so much. I don't know, it's hard for him to watch. That's all I can do from not going crazy right now. I've been talking to God, journaling and writing. I needed to take a break from all this for a minute, just so it was still intentional, you know, but I wasn't doing it just to get my mind off of what was happening. Um, but I trust and believe God is going to restore. I know what I deserve. I know what you deserve. I love